Hello, how are you? I'm tired. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is March 12th, 2023. It's on Sunday and sunny outside. How are you spending Sunday? Did you also start your day with a cup of coffee or tea? I start my day with a cup of coffee every morning. Which kind of coffee do you like? There are some kinds, like black, cafe latte, cafe au lait, cappuccino, and so on. I usually drink black coffee every morning with bread. Do you have a plan for today? Or nothing? Could you sleep well last night? I couldn't sleep well last night. I couldn't fall asleep until 2 or 3 o'clock a.m. I don't know why. Maybe it is due to the energy drink I drank yesterday. Although I rarely drink energy drink. It's getting warmer and warmer. I felt it especially since 2 days ago. It's very warm. Do you remember your baby's dates? Do you remember the days when you were a baby? From when did you start to, from when do you still remember? When did you realize that you were living on this earth? When were you conscious of living in this earth? When were you conscious of living on this earth? I'm suffering from some diseases. Which I hope eradicated. I'm suffering from some diseases which I hope will be eradicated as soon as possible. Recently, I feel the weather warmer and warmer. Recently, I really feel the temperature getting warmer and warmer. The economy is usually divided into public and private sectors. Can I know your motive? Why you want to work in the public sector? Can I know the reason and the motive why you want to work in the public sector? The land is private, so no one can enter without permission. The land is private. The land is owned privately by the owner, so you cannot enter without permission. Otherwise, you will offend the law. The land is owned by the owner privately, so you cannot enter without permission. Otherwise, you will offend the law. You will offend the law. offend, you will intrude on the law. Although the shop clerk guaranteed that the quality of the cushion was high, but it was broken. Soon after, I brought it back to my country. Although the staff guaranteed the high quality of the cushion, it broke down. It broke down soon. Although the staff guaranteed that the cushion would last for a long time because it has strong quality, good high quality, but it broke down soon. The decorations went off soon. Although the staff guaranteed that the cushion is very durable and would last for a long time, it broke down soon. Can you donate your money to anonymous entity? Can you donate your money to anonymous entity? Even during the recession, the company donated 1 billion yen to the disaster-stricken area. It's awesome, which surprised me. Even during the recession, after the Lehman shock, the company donated 1 billion yen to the disaster-affected area. There is no guarantee that everything will go well. There is no guarantee that earthquake will not happen tomorrow. And there is no guarantee that everything will go well. There is no guarantee that good things keep. There is no guarantee that good things will keep happening. Don't miss up the chance. It might not come again. Don't miss up the chance. The chance might not come out again. We need to be bold and extreme at times and go for it. We need to be bold and extreme at times and go for it. We need to be bold and extreme and go for it. We need to be bold and go for it sometimes, at times. I sometimes store my luggage in the coin locker in and around the station. But I think the storage fee is getting more expensive. If you want to store a larger luggage, it will cost you more. It depends on the size. The fee to deposit your luggage to the coin locker changes by the size of your belongings. The fee of the coin locker changes by the size of your belongings. The price of the coin locker changes by the size of your belongings. The storage fee of the coin locker differs according to the size of your luggage and baggage. The storage fee of the coin locker differs depending on the size of your belongings. Some events are held on a yearly basis. I study English on a daily basis. I study English on a daily basis. The event is held on a yearly basis. Some events are held on a yearly basis. Some events take place on a yearly basis. On a yearly basis. Some events take place on a yearly base. On a yearly basis. Some events take place on a yearly basis. Some drugs are permitted to use only for medical use. Some particular drugs are allowed to use only for medical use. Some particular drugs are allowed to use only for medical use. Some particular drugs are allowed to use only for medical use. Medical use. Medical use. I drink a cup of coffee as a kind of medical use, which makes me better, which makes me feel better. Coffee makes me feel better. I listen to music, especially classical music, for a kind of medical use. Classical music makes me calm down. Classical music makes me relaxed. The place where classified documents are stored will not be told. The secret place where the classified documents are stored will not be told. It's top secret. What can we do to as precautions from developing blood disorder? What can we do as precautions and preventions from developing blood disorder? My personality, in which I cannot stop doing until I break my health, might be genetic disease from my parent. My personality, in which I cannot stop doing something until I break my health, might be genetic disease from my parent. What are the common genetic diseases? What are the common genetic diseases? What can we do as precautions from developing genetic diseases? I'm suffering from atopic dermatitis or eczema since I was born. So I really hope that medical development will eradicate these diseases once and for all perfectly. I really hope so. Because the quality of life is damaged by this disease. I don't feel like going out when the inflammation is so horrible on my body. I think those with the same disease can understand this feeling. I really don't feel like going out when the inflammation is so horrible on my skin. I often confuse the word. I often confuse tissue with cell. I often confuse tissue and cell. I often confuse tissue and cell. I often confuse tissue and cell. Does tissue consist of the gathering of cells? Does tissue consist of cells? Some cells? Does tissue consist of cells? Does tissue consist of cells? Is the tissue composed of cells? Is the tissue composed of cells? How can stem cell develop into organ? I cannot understand the mechanism. How can the stem cell be developed into in an organ? What is stem cell? What is the difference between stem cell and cell? Many Japanese festivals stem from Shinto ritual to pray for good harvest and welcome ancestor spirit. I derive my happiness from studying English and doing what I love. I derive my happiness from doing what I like. I stem happiness from doing what I like. I derives what I derives happiness from doing what I like. I derives happiness from doing what I like. Which songs do you like the most? Which songs do you like the most? The songs from 20s or 1990s. Which genre of music do you like? Which genre of music do you like? Rock? Instrumental? Hip hop? R&B? Gospel? Rock? Classic? Visual kei? Which genre of music do you like the most? Which singer do you like the most? Do you know Japanese bands? Can you name your favorite Japanese name? Japanese band name. Could you name Japanese band? I will name my first daughter Nina. If I have a baby and a daughter, I will call her Nina. I will name her Nina. I will name her Nina. Umbilical cord, umbilical cord, umbilical cord, umbilical cord. I learned that babies obtain nutrition through the umbilical cord from their mother. I learned that the baby gets nutrition through the umbilical cord from his or her mother. I learned that a baby get nutrition through the umbilical cord from mother. I learned that a baby get nutrition through umbilical cord from mother. I learned that the baby get nutrition through umbilical cord from mother. Umbilical cord, 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 umbilical cord. I learned that the baby get nutrition through umbilical cord from mother. I learned that the baby get nutrition through umbilical cord from mother. I learned that the baby get nutrition from mother through umbilical cord. Umbilical cord, umbilical cord, umbilical cord. Do you think the number of patients with mental disorders has been increasing or decreasing? What kinds of medical treatments are available for mental disorder? What kind of treatments are available? What kinds of treatments are available for mental disorder? A functional disorder. Do you know about a functional disorder? What kinds of treatments are available for functional disorder? For a functional disorder. What kinds of treatments are available for a functional disorder? What kinds of treatments are available for functional disorder? What kinds of treatments are available for functional disorder? What kinds of treatments are available for functional disorder? What kinds of treatments are available for functional disorder? What kinds of treatments are available for functional disorder? What kinds of treatments are available for functional disorders? I will go to see a doctor to see if I have a functional disorder. I will go to see a doctor to see if I have a functional disorder. There are some kinds of functional disorder. There are some kinds of functional disorder. There are some kinds of functional disorder, so I will go to see a doctor to see if I have a functional disorder. My symptom might belong to one of the functional disorders. My symptom might belong to one of the functional disorders. Whenever I perform in front of people, I become in disorder. I'll be in disorder. This time tomorrow, I will be in disorder. This time tomorrow, I'll be in disorder, waiting for my turn at the behind the stage. The society was in disorder soon after the pandemic. And we are still in disorder to some extent, to a certain extent, to some degrees. Are you still in disorder? Are you still in disorder? I tend to be in disorder before my performance. I'm always up to in disorder before my performance. I'm always inclined to be in disorder before my performance. I'm always apt to be in disorder. I'm always apt to be in disorder. I'm always apt to be in disorder before my performance. I'm in disorder by thinking about whether or not I should take on the offer. It's no wonder he is in disorder now, because he got many letters. It's no wonder he is in disorder now, because he was accepted at 3 companies at the same time. If you were in disorder of the mathematics, why not try the cram school? All of the teachers have a strong motivation and teach you on a very friendly basis. If you have a problem in mathematics and you were in disorder, why not study at the cram school? All of the teachers are very selective and have very huge motivation to teach you. And this cram school features individual attention, so everybody will get intense attention from teachers. I tend to be in disorder when I embark on new business, new things. Whenever I start a new thing, I tend to become in disorder. I tend to be in disorder. I tend to be in disorder. I am inclined to be in disorder. I am apt to be in disorder. I am apt to be in disorder. Everybody is in disorder by the sudden resignation of the CEO. Everything was in disorder soon after the earthquake. Everything was in disorder after the earthquake. I've been in disorder since last week, wondering which company I should take on, which job offers I should take on. I'm in disorder, wondering what I should do in my life. I've been in disorder, wondering what I wanna do in my life. I'm in disorder due to the pandemic. The citizens are all in disorder by the sudden change of the policy by the minister, by the head of the political party. Those disordering the order tend to be criticized. Those disordering the order tend to be criticized in a society. There are many factors disordering the society. There are many elements disordering the society. Typhoon is also one of the elements disordering the society. Natural disaster. Natural disasters are also those disordering the society. Embarking on new era, new things we haven't ever done will disorder our condition, normal condition, which make us worried. Embarking on new thing or new field will disorder our mental or health and so on, but which makes us stronger in the future. Natural disasters disorder society. Public transportation. Natural disasters can disorder public transportations. Natural disasters can disorder public transportations. Natural disasters can stop the public transportations. Natural disasters can disorder the running of the public transportations. The natural disasters can disorder the operation of public transportation. The more I read books about the equation, the more I got confused. The more the contents of the books disordered my understanding. The more I read books about the equation, the more I was disordered. Messy rooms might disorder us. The jokes made by the employee disorder the solemn atmosphere in the meeting. Disorder the solemn atmosphere in the meeting. The jokes made by the employee disordered the solemn atmosphere in the meeting. Disorder the solemn atmosphere in the meeting. Disorder the solemn atmosphere in the meeting. The jokes made by the employee disordered the solemn atmosphere in the meeting. The jokes made by the employee disordered the solemn atmosphere of the meeting. 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 Our time schedule was disordered by the car accident. Our schedule was disordered by the traffic jam. I make it a rule to leave my house 30 minutes earlier than usual, so that I won't be disordered, so that my schedule won't be disordered by emergency such as car accident and so on the way. Our itinerary can be disordered by natural disasters, car accidents, emergency, and so on. Itinerary can be disordered by emergency, natural disaster, going to toilet, car accidents, and so on. I hope that the itinerary for today won't be disordered by anything today. I hope everything will go good. I hope everything will go good today. The car accident on the expressway disordered the expressway. The car accident happened on the expressway disordered the commute of many people. The car accident on the expressway disordered the commute. The car accident on the expressway disordered the schedule of the commuters. The car accident on the expressway disordered the schedule of the commuters. The car accidents happened on the expressway disordered the commutes. The car accident on the expressway disordered the schedule, 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 disordered the schedule of the commuters. Have you experienced blood transfusion? 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 No, I haven't. Honey transfusion into the apple. And have you gone through blood transfusion? Have you undertaken blood transfusion? I remember donating my blood for the transfusion for somebody at the company. I remember donating some of my blood for the transfusion for somebody. The blood I donated will be transfused someday. The blood I donated at the company will be transfused for somebody. The blood I donated at the company will be transfused to somebody. The blood I donated at the company will be transfused to somebody. How long does it take to finish transfusing the blood? How long does it take for the blood to be transfused? How long does it take for the blood to be transfused? How long does it take for the blood to be transfused? How long does it take for the blood to be transfused? Have you ever been transfused? Have you ever undertaken the transfusion? Have you ever gone through transfusion? And have you ever transfused blood? Have you ever transfused blood? Have you ever transfused blood? Have you ever undertaken Have you ever undertaken the blood transfusion? Some honey was transfused into the apple to make the taste sweeter, to make the taste more sweeter, to make the taste of the apple sweeter. The blood I donated will be transfused to somebody. Music therapy, coffee therapy. Music therapy. Music therapy works for me. Music has something special power to move our heart, to touch our heart. We can cry by listening to music. We can feel high, or we can feel good by listening to a certain kind of music. The genre of music differs from the persons. The genre of music by which we are moved will differ depending on us. The genre of music in which we are moved differs according to us, depending on us. But it is true that music has a special miracle power to move our heart, to touch our heart. So I think music also works as a therapy. Music also works as a therapy. I listen to a classical music as a kind of therapy to calm down, to relax. What is the speech therapy? Where is the speech therapy available? Where can I get the speech therapy? Where can I get the speech therapy? Is there a facility nearby here offering speech therapy? Is there a facility offering speech therapy? Is there a facility offering speech therapy? Speech therapy. Is there a facility offering a speech therapy? 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 What made you wanna be a therapist? What made you wanna be an architect? What made you wanna be a singer? What made you want to be a singer? What made you want to be a singer? Excuse me, I'd like my luggage sent to my address. Excuse me, I want my luggage sent to my address because I have many belongings with me, so I cannot bring it or I can't bring it home. So, how much is it to send my luggage to my address? I'd like the luggage sent to my address. I'd like the luggage sent to my address. I'd like the luggage sent to my address. I want to bring this suitcase to my room. I want you to bring this suitcase to my room. I would like you to bring this suitcase to my room. I would like you to bring this suitcase to my my room. Therapist. Have you consulted with the therapist? Have you had a conversation with the therapist? Have you talked with the therapist? Have you consulted with the Therapist. Have you counseled with the therapist? Have you counseled the therapist? Have you ever counseled with the therapist? Have you ever counseled with the therapist? Have you ever counseled with the therapist? Therapist. 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 Have you ever talked with a therapist? Music therapist. Are you particular about where to stay? Where to sleep? Yes, I cannot sleep with anyone else. I have to be alone to sleep. Yeah, you are the same type as me. Do you know the feature of the semiconductor? There is a certain level of voltage in which the electricity starts to flow in semiconductor. Do you know the feature of the semiconductor? There is a certain voltage in which electricity starts to flow in semiconductor. Do you know the feature of the semiconductor? There is a certain level of voltage, from which the electricity starts to flow. There is a certain level of voltage from which the electricity starts to flow. There is a certain level of voltage from which the electricity starts to flow in the semiconductor. Do you know the feature of the semiconductor? There is a certain level of voltage from which the electricity starts to flow. I met a certain guy who is familiar with Japanese food. I went to a certain restaurant, but I don't remember and I don't know at all about the restaurant. I visited a certain restaurant in the area, but I don't remember it at all. We just entered and had lunch there. A certain area which is not spotlighted might be spotlighted later. A certain area which is not thriving now might thrive in the future. Every field has the chance to be spotlighted and thriving in the future. We are not allowed to operate the machine until we reach a certain level. Until we reach a certain level. A certain group is involved in the instant too. Do you know the feature of semiconductor? Semiconductor has a certain level of voltage from which the electricity starts to flow. A certain man talked to me and asked me where is the nearest subway station from there. A certain man asked me the directions to the subway. A certain man asked me how to get to the subway station. A certain man asked me how to get to the subway station. It won't be until you reach a certain level that you can operate the machine. It won't be until you reach a certain level that you are allowed to operate the machine. Certain industries got the highest profit during the dropping yen, while others didn't. Certain areas which are not thriving now might thrive later. I put my pen in the cabinet for sure, for certain, but I cannot find it. I, for sure, for certain, put my pen in the drawer, but I cannot find it. Someone must have stolen it. Someone must have stolen it. Someone must have stolen it. Your academic accomplishment is for sure excellent. But not only the academic accomplishment is the criteria to evaluate you. For certain, for certain, for certain, for certain, for certain, for certain. Your accomplishment is awesome, excellent. Not many people can achieve it. But not only academic accomplishment is a criteria to evaluate you, assess you, value you. I did put my pencil in the drawer for sure, for certain. I did put my pencil in the drawer for certain. I did put my pencil in the drawer. I did put my pencil. I did put my pencil in the drawer for certain. I did put my pencil in the drawer for certain. The kitchen smells strange, for certain. For certain, the kitchen smells strange. There must be something wrong with the kitchen. Should we call the specialist to have it checked? Should we call the specialist to have it checked? To get it checked? Should we call the specialist to have the kitchen checked? To get the kitchen checked? No, you don't have to. I have a friend who is expert at gas or stove kitchen and so on. So I will call him. Okay, thank you. Please make certain that you've got all of the documents in the envelope. If not, please let us know until by the deadline written on below of the paper. Please make certain to submit the documents by the deadline. Otherwise, we cannot accept it. If there is a stamp on the envelope showing the date, we can accept the envelope. But if it is not, if the envelope doesn't have the stamp showing the date, we cannot accept it. We can accept by the deadline. Even the envelope arrives here beyond the deadline, if the envelope has the stamp showing the date before the deadline, is acceptable. Please make certain that you submit the documents by the deadline. Or please have the envelope stamped showing the date before the deadline. Please make certain that you submit the document application by the deadline. Or please have the document stamped showing the date before the deadline. Please make certain that you turn off all of the switches when you leave the room last. Please make certain that you turn off all of the switches in the room if you leave the room last. But I met her getting on the train, certainly. Was it my misunderstanding? But I did see her getting on the train in Umeda Station. For certain. Certainly. Was it my misunderstanding or my illusion? Was it my illusion? Certainly. I've got the payment, certainly. Thank you. We've received the payment, certainly. The email sent from us is the proof that you've finished paying. We've certainly received the payment of the service. And please do not delete the email we've sent, because this will be the proof that you have finished paying. We've certainly accepted and received the payment from you, and this email is to show you that you have finished paying the balance. So please do not delete this email. Certainly. We've received the amount of the fee from you, certainly. This email shows that you have finished paying the balance. So please do not delete this email. This is important. How much is the certainty of your success in the business? I think some successful people challenge, although it is low certainty. Some successful people, or many, challenge, even with low certainty. How much is the certainty of the success? How much is the certainty of the weather forecast? How much is the certainty of the weather forecast? As far as I know, as far as I checked, as far as I've checked ever, the next day or 2 days later are the possibility is very high. But the weather forecast in a week is very low, as far as I've checked ever. It is probable that the weather forecast change in a week. Certainty. Certainty. Some successful people challenge with high certainty. They are filled with confidence. Some successful people challenge with high certainty. They are filled with confidence. Some successful people challenge with high certainty. They are filled with, bubbled over with confidence. They are drawing bright future. Certainty. Certainty. Some successful people challenge, although it is low certainty. Some successful people challenge with low certainty. Although the certainty was low, we kept searching for the evidence, ending up finding the one. I wonder how much the certainty of the story is. I wonder how much the certainty of the story is. I wonder how much the certainty of the story is. Certainty. Certainty. Considering the score of the employee, the certainty of achieving the goal is high for him. Considering the recent accomplishments made by the employee, leaving the duty to him will give us higher certainty of achieving our goal. Given the current accomplishments made by the employee, leaving the job to him will give us higher certainty of meeting the requirements of the customers. It is said if we don't use our brain, the ability of our brain will decrease. It is said if we stop using our brain, the ability of our brain will decrease. It is said that if we don't use our brain, the brain will the ability of our brain will start to decrease. I'd like to as rich as you. I'd like to be as rich as you. I'd like to be billionaire. I'd like to be a billionaire. I'd like to be a billionaire as soon as possible, as soon as I can. I am eager to be a billionaire as soon as possible, as soon as I can. Thank you. I realized nothing would happen just waiting for the miracle. I realized that nothing could happen by waiting for the miracle. So I started to move from myself, from my past, from my side to make it come true. I realized nothing would happen by waiting for the miracle to happen forever. I realized nothing would happen by waiting for the miracle to happen. So I decided to move from my side to make my dreams come true, to get job opportunities and so on. Is it possible to be a billionaire? Is it possible to become a billionaire? Do you mind me open the window? Would you mind me opening the window? Would you mind if I open the window? Do you mind if I open the window? Would you mind me opening the window? Do you mind me opening the window? Would you mind opening the window? Would you mind helping me opening the window? Would you mind helping me close the door? Would you mind helping set up the tent? Would you mind helping me set up the tables? Sure, not at all. Not at all. Would you mind helping me set up the tables? Not at all. Would you mind helping me set up the tables? Not at all. Would you mind helping me set up the table? Would you mind helping set up the tables? Would you mind helping me set up the tables? Would you mind helping me set up the tables? Not at all. How much is the possibility of you succeeding in the business? How much do you think is the possibility of me succeeding in the business? Please tell me the truth. I'd like to your honest opinion. Honest opinion. I'd like to know your honest opinion. How much do you think is the possibility of me succeeding in the business? Give me your honest opinions. I might be accepted at the company, possibly. Possibly, I might be accepted at the company. 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 Possibly, Possibly I might be accepted at a company. Possibly I might be accepted at a company. Possibly. Possibly I might be accepted. Possibly. In every possible way. In every possible way. Possibly. 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 Possibly we might have the chance to meet the celebrity. Possibly we might have the chance to see the celebrity coming out of the exit. Possibly we might have the chance to we might have the chance of getting a glimpse of the celebrity coming out of a rear exit. Possibly we might have the opportunity to have a glimpse of the celebrity coming out of the rear exit. Possibly. Possibly. Perhaps we might have the chance to get a glimpse of the celebrity coming out of rear exit. Possibly. 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 The CEO might hit change at the last minute. Possibly. The chief executive officer might change his mind at the last minute. Possibly. Perhaps. Possibly. 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 How much is the probability when the investor invests on the stock or something others? 50% or 60%? How much percentage is the criteria to invest on the stock or crypto coins and so on as investor? I'd like to know that. I'd like to know the criteria based on which the investors invest on stocks, virtual coins, and so on. What is the criteria? How much is the probability? With how much probability do investors invest on stocks, virtual coins, and so on, cryptocurrencies, and so on? 60 or 70? I know it is no perfect answer, but I'd like to know about. I'd like to know the probability. I'd like to know the criteria. Which the investors are based on when they invest on something. It is probable that the earthquake happens within 30 years. It is highly probable that the CEO changed his mind at the last minute. It is highly probable that our sports meeting match the rainy day. Much rainy day. It is highly probable that our sports meeting will fall into the rainy day. It's highly probable that our sports meeting will fall into the rainy day. It's probable that I come across an old friend of mine at the shopping mall. It's probable that I come across an old friend of mine at the shopping mall. It is probable that everyone has a chance to become a millionaire. Being late for school is highly probable for some students. Being late for school or company is highly probable for certain students or employees. Being late for school is probable for a certain student. It is highly probable that more and more jobs will be replaced by AIs. How much do you think is the probability of me succeeding in the business? Please tell me your honest opinion. How much do you think is the probability of me succeeding in the business? Please tell me your honest answer. How much do you think is the probability of me succeeding in the business? How much do you think is the probability of me passing the examination? According to the examination result, the probability of me passing the examination is 80%. According to the weather forecast, the probability of holding the event outside is becoming low. According to the weather forecast, the probability of the sports meeting being held outside is getting lower. Maybe it might be held inside instead. The probability of enjoying the fireworks displays were destroyed by the pandemic. Are flying cars feasible? Are flying cars feasible? Living in the ocean feasible? Traveling to the universe feasible in 10 years? Traveling to the Mars or Moon feasible in 10 years? Incredible things will be feasible in 1 century. I often wonder how people in the past, like 100 years ago, would think by looking at the current society, like space station moving around the sun, people contacting with people in the world through smartphone and so on. In 100 years, we didn't have people didn't have the internet and so on, and so I'd like to see the reaction of those used to live in 100 years ago by looking at current situation, society, and so on. They would be surprised at this. Are flying cars feasible in 10 years? 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 With time, impossible things might approach feasibility, more feasible. The impossible things were made more feasible by the advancement of new technologies. Impossible things will be made possible and feasible by new technologies. Predicting when the earthquakes happen is not feasible right now, as of 2023. Predicting when the earthquakes happen is not feasible as of now. My crazy ideas often seem to be not feasible. My crazy ideas often seem to be not feasible. My crazy ideas often seem to be not feasible. How much is the feasibility of your dream? How much is the feasibility of flying cars in 10 years? How much is the feasibility of flying cars? How much is the feasibility of developing flying cars? How much is the feasibility of developing flying cars? How much is the feasibility of developing flying cars? How much is the feasibility of developing a flying car? Feasibility of things will be accelerated with the new technologies. Feasibility of developing flying cars will be accelerated by the development of new technologies. Please tell me your honest opinion about the feasibility of me passing the examination. Please tell me your honest opinions about me, about the feasibility of me entering the big company. According to the result of the preliminary examination, the feasibility of me passing the examination is about 50%. What do you want to do in Japan? Eating sushi? Visiting historical spots? Scenic locations? Which do you prefer? Tokyo or Osaka? Which do you prefer? Tokyo or Kyoto? Are you going to arrive at Narita Airport or Kansai International Airport? Are you going to Japan with the Japan Rail Pass? Do you know how to get a Japan Rail Pass? First, you have to order in your country, and you can get it at Midori no Monology in Japan. Initially, I dreamed of becoming a police officer. Initially, I was dreaming of entering the big company. But I've changed my mind. Initially, I was trying to enter the big company. Initially, I was trying to enter the big company. Initially, I was trying to enter the company. Initially, the composer of the music did not expect it to be so viral. Initially, the composer of the music did not expect it to be so viral, popular. Initially, the composer of the music did not expect it to be so popular. All you have to do is very simple. Just tell the host of the initial impression of what you felt in the room. Initial motivation of something will be high for many people, but the motivation will decrease with time. Keeping the high motivation is very difficult. Keeping the high motivation constantly, continuously is very difficult. Initial motivation when you start something will be high, but keeping the high initial motivation constantly is difficult. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.